was completely the wrong button to press. Can't believe I did that. Okay, so let's take that contract, and that contract, and get back to there. Okay, now we have all this fertilizer back in. Let's turn it on. Drive and go. Okay, that's what I meant to do. I hit the unload, but how did I hit the unload button? That's weird. Because my intent was to turn the cruise control on, and the unload button's opposite side of the keyboard. It is what it is. Okay, 30 done. This headland not quite so wide. Turn to there, I think, should make it possible. And follow the tracks we created coming down the field. It's looking like our Christmas dinner yesterday is not agreeing with at least 2/3 of the people in the house. I did not have a good night last night, and Mrs. Osa feels much the same way this morning. So, it's not a good thing. Now if I get down to the bottom, I could do a 270-degree left turn at the bottom, and that may clip that bit we missed. No matter what, it will square off everything for crossing the field. And there we go. And hit the cruise control instead of the unload button this time. So much more awesomeness if I do that. So yeah, we now hit the point of year 3 where there's lots of odd things to do with the occasional blitz on our fields. So we're going to be able to make income from contracts, and next month, as I said, I'm expecting a lot of grass contracts. So we'll probably pick up a bunch of those. We can send the big M off on a worker to get those mowed. If I go out with a baler, whatever I need, so if we concentrate on silage contracts, I believe I can send the Renault out, give it the same courseplay course as the big M takes, and it should then just follow straight down the lines and create rat bales as it goes. And then we just bring one of the class tractors in with a with the flatbed trailer to collect all the bales and get rid of them. So we'll be able to turn over a lot of those daily, especially since the Big M's quicker than the Valtra was. I may get myself another Valtra at some point, but I don't need to concern myself with a reverse drive capable one. Hay contracts, it'll take two of our smaller well actually it'll take two of our small tractors and a big one, because we would have to ted the grass, then rake it, and then we'd have to use the Axion 800 to bale it with the square baler. But we can make bigger hay bales than we can silage bales, because that's the world we live in. We have two balers. I've got a lot of duplication of equipment. I should probably sell the Kubota spreader. I really do not need that at all. It's one of those things that we got it originally, and now that we've got, well, I got the big spreader for lime. The little spreader I still use for fertilizer occasionally, but it's like never on my fields. It would only be for a contract field, and this now has better capacity, longer duration in the field. It's just, this option is better all around, although a spreader is faster. You can drive those at I think about 11 miles an hour. Fling out fertilizer all over the place and just be 2 passes and done, because our spreader does have a good width. But we're pretty much migrated to liquid fertilizer across the board here, so the only reason to use a solid fertilizer would be if I had a planter that put fertilizer in the ground as it's planting. How are we doing? 86% done, so we're probably going to be halfway back by the time this contract's complete. I think in general I am going to be looking at, we've got our planter, we've got our final planter, it only holds seed and it direct drills, so I don't need to be looking for other planters. 12 meters I think is about as good as we can do on this map, without it getting frustrating trying to get round the narrow lanes. And we get a seeder, I'll be looking for exactly the same capabilities on it, so probably about 12 meters. If I can get one that only holds seed, it means that I have everything I need to put on a field. I must absolutely put on a field in one go, and the tanks are big enough to hold lots of it, as opposed to if you get a tank that holds, or a seeder that holds seed and fertilizer, you usually lose somewhere around half of your capacity to the fertilizer. And so less seed, less stuff you can do. And if you're doing it with contracts, frankly, I don't need the fertilizer, because contract seeding does not say, and while you're at it, fertilize. It's, you seed my field, and then later on you can come back and fertilize and I'll pay you again. Alrighty, and we are done with that. Let's get paid. 9,000, nice. So, last 3 fields to work. I need to figure out, I can never figure out how to get from this road up to our farm. Actually, I think I can, but it would involve going all the way to that building in the distance. I think we'd have to go down to there. At least for me to reliably make it across. Part of the problem I find directly north of us now is a yard which has, now has farm buildings in it. And so you would have to go through that yard to get to our farm. And some of the fields there are only accessed from that yard and then dead end. So let's see where we go. Let's get in the cab so I can see where I'm going. Let's swerve around all over the place. So we're going to come back past the field we started this fertilization loop with. I think there is a possibility I could possibly have done 96, 34 and then done all 3 of the ones, the 2 we just did and the first one we did with the full tank, and then we'd be back home and we'd have pretty much an empty sprayer, but it would have the more fertilizer back at the store. Anyway, let's go. And I think we'll unload this, we'll spray it down, and I can probably put this tractor away. And I'm biasing towards using the Renault because it is the cheaper tractor to use. And they're similar horsepower to this one, so if I don't have to use this one, I kind of want to avoid it. And here we are, back end of our fields. And there are some times where I need tractors in the 200 horsepower range. This one and the Renault are a little light, but it's close enough that they can run all of our small equipment. One thing I was thinking, I could get a small cultivator, 4 or 5 meter, that has a 180 horsepower requirement, and I could do contracts with that using the Renault. Unfortunately, the cultivator we have is 6 meter 220 horse requirement, so it's a little bit heavy for these 2 tractors. But if I get a direct drill, I won't need a big cultivator anymore. Let's pull over here. And that's pumping straight into that tank. Awesome. Okay, we can get that cleaned off, and that's that job done. I do believe this is going to go in the middle bay. Alright, that's good enough. I've been parking this next to this shed. It's a little inconvenient when we come to cutting the grass. I do need some more sheds. Oh, and the planter barely fits in that shed, but close enough. Okay, that's that one. That's that one. That tractor for today. Nice. How is that? There is one thing I want to check before we depart the yard. We're going to grab the roller. But this here spreader. Try something done very shortly. First things first, it has fertilizer in it, so you need to deal with that. Take the fertilizer over here. And as per usual, I will dump it on the floor because I don't know, that for some reason I haven't figured out how to oh, no backing fails, so well, no, I tell a lie. I've been using the oh, what is it, the John Deere sprayer, and it's got a double pivot hitch. So it is totally horrible to back up, and it just jackknifes left, right and centre regardless of what you're trying to do. And good day, Cactus Gaming. Hi, welcome to my what is normally a Saturday stream, but when I'm on holidays from work, I also stream those mornings as well, because I'm the only morning person in the house. But thank you for the subscription. I'm afraid not. This is a one-player game. I have a number of mods that aren't that have been edited to be not generally available. So even if I were inclined to play multiplayer, I don't. And also, this stream, it's just me having fun while everybody else in the house is asleep. Okay, let's fix that weight. Actually, should we fix all of them? Yeah, 400. Yeah, 16 pounds. And the roller. Repair. Can I check the customization on that? Yes, it's on the right one. Back. Yes, orange safety tractors. And I don't even know where I'm going. We are rolling 12 and 23. Good fun. 12 and 23. 12 should be up here. There. And 23, oh, is over there. Well, I guess it's on the road. So 12 is straight across. Good. That's easy. Now, what I'm going to try and do is send this off to find field 12 while we try and make it to the store with a completely unrealistic run. Stop. Worker. Set destination. There. And is As I said, the last Glenleathann update seems to have done wonders for the between field tracking of everything. Okay. I have no idea if this is going to work. Personally, I don't expect it should. Yeah, not going to work. Okay, we're not even going to try. I'm going to take this off to the store because we have stuff to pick up and bring back to the yard. And then I need to check my reader's capability. Oh, worker F is already there. Dang, he was quick. I think I might put him on a regular worker for field 12. I'll get to the store. We'll set him off. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll get to the store. Whee! How do I pick up a log in FarmSim? Oh, how do you pick up logs? Okay, you can use a tractor, cheap option. If you have a tractor with a front loader arms, you can then buy a log fork and these arms pivot up and down. You scoop up the log with the lower one, lower the pivot on top, and that will hold the log in place. And then take it to a usually some form of logging trailer which has long things on the side. We can find one of those to forestry. See something like that with the long spikes. You can drop a log. They've got wide points. You can drop a log. You can fit the log fork between those two arms. Empty the log in there and it'll hold it in place. It won't fall off. If you use a flatbed trailer, logs can roll off and that can be annoying. I believe you're watching on what size tractor? It doesn't need to be very big. It really depends on how big your logs are. The bigger the log, the heavier it is. You would either then need to put a weight on the back of a tractor to balance out the weight of the log. Wheel weights can work in this version of FarmSim. Some of the earlier versions, they don't work. You would have to use a regular weight. But you can get some seriously big weights. I have done logging with, I think it was a Valtra T. As I said, I've got a number of mods active, but go back to tractors, medium-sized tractor. I have used one of these with the loader arms, the forks, and sometimes a weight on the back. As I said, you can put wheel weights on, which do work in FarmSim 19. You then need to include loader arms. Two options there. But pretty much any mid-sized tractor, you look at the weight of this, it's 7.3 tons, 8 point, that's even heavier, but you need to have one that has loader arms available. Large tractors tend not to. You can use some of the smaller equipment. Skid steers can be used, but they're very light, so you want to, you're looking at 3-4 meter logs on those. Same with telehandlers. I think you can get log forks on those as well. Wrapped bale, yeah, you got a log fork there. I don't like those style of log forks because it's only got a single arm. Earlier versions of Farm Sim, that's what you got for your tractors, and very unreliable. So I constantly used a mod. Actually, go back to there. This thing would not be a good idea. The pivot's at the front, the pivot is at the back. So you're carrying most of the weight distributed between the wheels. That's the problem with the tractor, because the forks are at the front, the weight is all on the front as well. And then for ultimate pickups, you've got these things, the wheel loaders, which actually back up, and combinations. You get a huge log fork that can pick up 2 or 3 logs at a time. Yeah, big weight on the back. So the other thing you might want to consider if you're using a small tractor is a weight on the back, just to balance the weight of the log. But if you're only cutting small logs, then that's easy as well. Now, my Renault is the only tractor I have with loader arms on it, so, and it's out doing jobs. But we can look at that in a while if you hang around. Now, what am I doing? And I also have a little bit of a cheat mod that gives me super strength, so that's the other way I could pick up logs. Let's come on. Blah 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 blah. Okay, get in the vehicle and strap it down. Okay, we can get this back to the farm. Oh, squeak! I was going to do this. So any tractor, shortcut to get to purchasing. If you're starting as a new farmer, you should have a tractor, and some tractors will have loader arms attached. Now, what am I doing? I am doing help her go. Okay, let's go back to the Kubota and head out. The other thing, I play with a Logitech side panel, which has a little joystick, so it makes it easier to use front loader arms. The problem with, if you don't have a joystick, you're going to be using your mouse, and you have to press mouse buttons and move the mouse around to raise and lower things. So let's get this lot back to the farm.